was just saying, God, that's an amazing looking car. I think the more time that goes on, the more appreciation we have.
I reckon.
And that's like on a yearly basis
especially
now.
when you look at the new models.
I know. It's like I never used to pay that much attention to cars, you know, this sort of era.
Well, when I first looked at an E39, the Motorsport grille that had the T-bar in the bottom of the grille, I thought, that's a bit ugly. I don't know if I like that. But then a few months later, actually,
yeah,
it's growing on me.
I think just the simplicity of design with enough added to it is what makes good design. It's like less is more.
Yeah.
And clean lines.
Yep.
All around the car, you know. And that's just the look of the car. No, not to mention the engineering aspect of it. Some of you might know Stuart through the BMW club, BMW Car Club of New Zealand.
Yep, that's right.
And Stuart's the local, what would you call your role?
I'm the chair of the committee, so so I just assist in organising events for the local chapter, which is Waikato Bay. Bay of Plenty.
And obviously anything that Stuart touches turns to gold, because he's eventually, not instantly, but you'll see in a minute the examples that we've got here that he gets things absolutely right. So we'll have a look anyway. You could walk us through the two of them, and then maybe we could look at a bit more detail.
Yeah, okay, so these are the two that I've ended up with after a succession of them for over a few years. So this one, obviously the E39 M5, I've had it about 8 years, which is quite a long time for me now. This was actually the last one built for New Zealand. It was built in January 03, and it was the second to last one sold in September 03. The second to last one built was the last one sold, so, and it's identical. But it's quite low k's, that one. This one's being used. It's done 260 odd thousand k's. I think I'm the third owner, and it's pretty original. It even got the original plate, which is quite rare for an M5 in this country. There's only 7 M5s with the original plates. There's about 48 M5s in the country, E39s. We've got a register and a little Facebook group going. There's about 35 New Zealand new, and the rest were privately imported. So this is carbon black metallic, with black interior, just standard specification, steel sunroof. And in the time I've had it, I have done quite a bit to it, but nothing major. You know, I've changed the touch points in the car, like the steering wheel and gear shifter. I put a new clutch in it when I first got it, because it was quite obvious after I'd had it a few days that it was slipping. So a new clutch went in, drive shaft was refurbished as well, because the rear CV joint was pinging a bit. We've had the wheels refurbished, new tyres, I've polished the lights, done all that usual kind of thing. Put a new thermostat in, blah blah blah. I haven't touched the shocks yet. Done the rear upper control arms on the suspension. I think the front shocks have been replaced once, probably about 100,000 k's ago.
And with the original, with Sark's?
Original Sark's, The thing is with these cars, these are the same shocks as the 540 Motorsport M Sport 2, just different springs. But the front shocks you can actually buy as OE Sarch. And they're relatively cheap. Well, I wouldn't say cheap, but they're alright. The rear shocks are Sarch, but you can only buy them with a BMW brand on them. So that's a little bit more. So if you weren't, although I suppose Bilstein's always an alternative. But if you want to keep everything completely original. There's Coney Yellow as well, I believe. There's a few varieties. It's hard kind of researching shocks for these kind of cars to get good opinion on what's going to sit right and look
Yeah.
good without actually trying it first.
It's getting that right mix, eh,
Yeah.
of ride and like you say, the way it sits. So yeah, oh, it's a beautiful looking car.
Yeah, I just don't use it enough.
Yeah.
Like a lot of things, but you know, that's how it is.
Yeah, you would have enjoyed getting them out and parking them out here then today.
Yes, my last trip in this was with the Wellington chapter of the BMW club to Whangamomana.
Oh nice, yeah, cool.
So I drive down the main road to Stratford,
Yep.
State Highway 3, I meet the boys
Yep.
in Stratford for lunch,
Yep.
and then we charge on up to Whangamomana,
Yep.
just in time for some late afternoon sun and a few pints of tui.
Yeah.
And talk rubbish.
Yeah.
And then we drive out in the morning, we drive north, up through the Forgotten Highway.
Right, yeah.
And I drive on to home, and they turn off and head back south from Taumanui.
Is that a good driving road for this car?
It's tight and twisty.
Yeah.
It's it's okay.
Yeah.
It gets a good workout.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to give it a bit of jandle, but at the same time I don't go stupid. I'm not spinning wheels or anything.
Yeah.
I like to protect what's underneath there, not
for sure.
Try and destroy it.
Yeah. You see your moments, you know, when you're driving, eh?
Well, it's those nice sweeping twisties where this thing really comes into its own.
Yeah, definitely. And have you taken it on any sort of long kind of road trips?
Yes, it's done a South Island tour again with the BMW club a couple of years ago.
That's right, yeah.
We did something like 3,600 k's in 8 days.
Yeah, I would have loved it down there.
Never missed a beat.
Yeah.
I took a toolkit and, you know,
yeah.
I took a spare wheel as well, because these don't have a spare.
Yeah.
They have the goo and the compressor.
Yeah, it's almost standard
so
that now.
I didn't even have to look at that.
Yeah.
It just, they say the E62 is one of the more reliable engines. And it's a lot to do with, well, the engineering, and also these run at a much lower temperature thermostat than the other cars.
Yeah.
This runs at about, well, down the South Island it wasn't even getting to 80 degrees. So that just protects the plastics and gaskets a lot better than the other varieties of V8s in particular.
And as they progressed into the E60 platform, the opposite came, and they were running so hot, those motors, weren't they, compared to so everything from that point on is compensating for how hot they get, I guess.
Yeah, well, I can talk about that when we talk about the 7. But, it was a combination of a design kind of thing and then a servicing kind of thing that led to problems with V8s later in life.
Right, yeah. Cool. Okay, well, have a look at the 7.
Yep.
And it's another thing that's always surprising. Probably don't notice it quite so much when they're just standing by themselves, but when you get them alongside the more recent cars, just the size difference.
Well, how small these are.
I know. I mean, that's a 5 now.
Yeah.
So we're probably not that much bigger than a 3 Series now.
True.
And so they used to be gargantuan, you know, when they were cars. But so how long have you had this one for, Stuart?
I've had this one since about November 22. So
yep.
It's a 2001 740 Motorsport. It's ex-Japan. It came to New Zealand in 05. It's been through several owners, and it was basically kind of just used. I came across the ad for this in the E38 group on Facebook, and the guy was in Whangarei, and he says, I'm going to give the selling of this one last try before I put it away, and I'd never seen it before. And I thought, oh, this looks alright.
Sounds like you came into the picture at just the right time.
Yeah, and so we actually went up on a BMW club run. They have a Northland Spring Fling every year. It's a pretty good weekend. Yeah. Now I went up with a mate, and we bought this. Well, I bought this, and again since then I've done some stuff to it. It's what have I done? Well, cosmetics. I've improved the interior. I actually bought a complete interior out of a 735 Motorsport from a local dismantler in Hamilton.
Oh yeah.
Because mine had a few cigarette burns in the
Yep.
Alcantara cloth inserts, and
Yeah.
just a bit daggy in other places.
Yeah.
So I made the best of both sets,
Right.
put it in here,
Yeah.
and I advertised the old set for sale, thinking, oh, I should get, you know, these are sports seats, Alcantara, quite rare.
Yeah.
No one wanted it.
Yeah.
I made the stupid mistake of sticking it on Trade Me for $1. Got $1.50 for 4 seats, 4 door cards.
Yeah.
I won't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The previous owner was a disabled driver chap.
Oh.
So he had a thingy on the wheel, steering wheel,
Oh yeah.
which had crushed the wheel. So I've changed the steering wheel.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So the interior is pretty well sorted. I've actually just the other day installed a phone, a genuine phone.
Oh really?
From back then. I think it had one, but it was removed.
Yeah. Yeah. I suppose they probably got.
Yeah.
They got over the fact that they didn't need them anymore, so they didn't factor in the cool factor,
Yeah,
and now we do.
Yeah. So just put that in. I've painted the tops of several of the doors because the clear coat had gone.
Right.
So I do try to paint things myself with varying degrees of success.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I don't get too close.
Yeah.
I've painted the bumpers,
Right.
the wing mirror covers, the bonnet insert, a couple of other bits and pieces. I've changed the number plate
Yeah.
insert because being Japanese it had the narrower space.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So that's a Euro NZ one, so I
Yeah.
got one in from Europe.
Yeah.
It just clips in.
Yeah.
So I had to paint that.
Yeah.
And then I got those plates. My niece actually had those plates on a little 318 she used to own, but unfortunately they wrote that car off. They're okay, of course,
Yeah,
but I bought the plates, had them for a while, then I sold them to another mate, and then I got the car. I said, I want those plates back. So I swapped BMW 582 with them for this one.
Oh, yeah.
It was on the 7.
Yeah.
But then I decided I wanted 582 back to put on what's now Bruce's car. The
Oh yeah, that's
540.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I bought them back off him. So
Yeah.
the plates have done a bit of a swap around.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've changed the tail lights. Put new colours on the headlights.
Yep.
I put new shocks all around in this. That was eye-watering,
Yeah.
to say the least. But they are genuine BMW Motorsport shocks.
Yeah.
Because again, trying to research what worked well with Motorsport springs.
Yeah.
If I changed the shocks, I'd have to change the springs as well, and I'd have to go aftermarket.
Yeah.
I could never be sure where I'd end up with it.
Yeah. If you find someone who's done exactly what you want already to their car,
Yeah.
yeah, not so hard,
But
but
I think it looks. I think the stance is okay.
yeah. How long ago did you do the springs and shocks?
Probably about 18 months.
Oh yeah.
Or less than 18 months ago.
I was going to say they can settle a bit sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's probably done that by now.
It's got the larger front brakes from the 750 on it. They were already on it when I got it, and it's got a limited slip diff, like aftermarket, a quaif, is it called? So yeah, the previous owner had ideas to do it to hot it up a bit, so to speak.
Yeah.
OEM
plus.
Well, I've got receipts that he tried to have a supercharger fitted.
Oh, yeah.
But it didn't fit, and I think it interfered with the secondary air system injection valve, which they could have deleted.
Yeah.
So that was a fail. So he didn't in the end, which is, I think, a good thing, because yeah, to me, you need to focus on the basics of a car before you start.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it leaked oil.
Yeah.
The varnish was rattly as hell.
Yeah.
The chain guides have been replaced.
Yeah.
Probably about 70,000 k's ago.
Yeah.
But I think they just did the basics.
Right.
They just did the guides, and
Yeah.
while you're in there, you do all sorts of other things.
Yeah.
Like there's the oil separator, the plastic cyclone separator is behind the chain guides on these engines.
Right. Yeah.
And you should replace that.
While you're in there.
It will be, you only have to look at it and it will crumble.
Yeah.
I've done chain guides on a couple of 540s.
Yeah. You do that yourself, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
At least if you're doing it yourself, and you've done your research. It's funny, like if you're getting mechanics to do stuff for you, depending on the mechanic, they often won't suggest all the other things they can do while they're in there, you know.
No, they don't.
Because it's another job, or I guess for them if they have to later on, or don't know.
When I did the chain guides, I took a month or so
Yeah.
to do it part-time, and a lot of the work was cleaning,
Yeah.
because these engines, they leak oil.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the weather. If
Yeah.
they're not leaking, they're about to.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But that goes back to the design of them,
Yeah.
and the servicing.
Or if they're not leaking, there isn't any oil in it.
Yeah.
You've got worse problems.
Yeah. So I've since done the Vanos refurbishment, because
Yeah.
it was rattly as hell when I got it.
Yeah.
Now it's good, it's quiet, it's talky,
Yeah.
it's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And I've done other things. I've just installed actually a low temperature thermostat in it too now.
Yeah.
And another water pump, because it was starting to leak.
Yeah. Are they the plastic water pumps as well in these, or was that
The one I
before
put
that?
in is a metal one.
Yeah.
It was one I just had spare. I got off a mate. I'm not sure as to its life, but it felt alright in the bearings and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try it as opposed to.
Yeah.
It's not too much of a job to change.
Yeah,
it
I was
now,
going to
it's
say
just-
that. Yeah.
So
Mm.
so on the servicing on the servicing side of things, and the temperatures, shall we pop the bonnet maybe on this one now?
Yeah.
So this is the M62 TU technical update engine. So it's got the variable valve timing, the Vanos.
Yep.
And there's very mixed reviews on these engines. Some say they're just not as good as the earlier M62, because the torque and the power output are very similar between the two. These just got like 20 Newton meters more torque. And they say for all the woes that it gives people, it's not worth it. But
Yeah.
I think it's undeserved. I think we've just got to maintain these engines, eh?
Yeah.
So when they were new, they had 25,000 kilometre service intervals, and they ran and they've got a 105 degree thermostat in them.
Yeah.
So they run at about 108, 109.
Yeah. And when these came out, it would have been all mineral oil, not synthetic, or
I think it was synthetic.
synthetic. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. At least it's not quite so bad, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got in it what's called a MAP thermostat, so it's electrically activated as well as mechanical. So when the load goes on, the engine computer opens up the thermostat more, and it brings the temperature down. So it can come down as low as 80,
oh yeah.
and then once the load comes off, it'll come back up to 105.
Yep.
And it's designed for fuel efficiency and emissions,
Yeah, yeah. Emissions play a
But-
big part in
but at
engineering now.
the expense of it just cooks the engine and engine bay.
Yeah.
So gaskets turn to plastic,
Yeah.
Bakelite.
And it's often when you've been on a drive somewhere and then you park up and your bonnet's down and all that heat's trapped in there and
Yeah.
everything's baking.
Yeah, and you have a lot of
Baking
trouble
hot.
with these things.
Yeah.
The DSC.
There was somebody, I don't know how effective they are, I think they were local over here somewhere, that brought out some sort of guard
Yeah.
that goes around in
yeah.
like a heat shield. And a lot of people's comments, they sort of didn't get what that was about, but exactly what you just said, they're really susceptible to
Your heat.
picking up the heat
And it's
getting-
usually
and
just
being damaged.
the electronic side of the module as opposed
Yeah.
to the hydraulic. But I think it was maybe more prevalent on the sixes.
Right.
But
Yeah.
having said that, there may be more sixes around for more failures. You know.
True.
So 25,000 k service intervals running at 105. These engines really, in my view, had a hard life in the early years.
Yeah.
Now that they're in the hands of enthusiasts, hopefully you're doing a service an oil change every
Yeah.
year, or 10,000 k's, whichever comes first, which is
Yeah.
usually a year.
Yeah.
Although a lot of people say a good quality synthetic is good for a couple of years, so
Yeah.
a couple of years won't hurt
Yeah.
if you're not doing the K's. But I've also put now in here an 88 degree mechanical only thermostat.
Okay, and that just keeps it regularly at
Keeps
that.
it at 90 to 93.
Yeah.
It's just nice.
Yep.
But even after a long run, and I get home, I'll still open the bonnet
Yeah.
and leave the bonnet open for a while.
Yeah, and because there's not that much space around them, it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's not many places for the cool air to get in while it's stationary.
Yeah.
But yeah. Nice.
So yeah, a lot of work's been done in there.
I guess when
Various
these
things.
were new cars, they would have been quite popular as sort of executive kind of company cars
Oh yeah.
too, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
So it sort of attaches to what you're saying about not being quite so loved as what they are now. You know, they were probably used and abused a bit.
Well, they were owned for a couple of years, and then
Yeah.
then off they went.
Bit neglected.
To begin their descent into, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the whole aim of a car company, is to sell new cars. So,
Yeah. Yeah. You kind of just hope, well, you wouldn't really know, but that, you know, when the company buys a car and they do that initial running in period, that they do everything, because it's sort of quite important to the early life of a car, isn't it? But I suppose it's luck of the draw as time goes on.
So these cars were north of 180k brand new, I think.
Yeah.
Which, think about it, at the time.
Yeah.
What was the most expensive HSV was about 110 or something.
Right. Yeah.
And the power output of these was on a par with what they were doing.
Yeah.
Because these are 210. And I think like the HSV GTSR or something from a similar time was like 215.
Yeah.
With a 5.7 litre V8.
Yeah.
I was into Holdens big time back in the 90s, so I had a lot of cars back when you could actually afford those cars.
I think there's a few people who have transitioned from Holdens into
I've got another
BMWs.
mate I met in the Holden Club, in Rowan's, in the Holden Club, and of course, Holden Circles. He's converted to BMW too, and he's got one of my old ones.
Yeah, yeah. So out of these two, I always ask people this now, if you had to part with one, which one would it be?
Yeah, you know.
Different animals.
Yeah, different animals.
Yeah.
It would probably have to be this one. But there's something about sitting in this one that you feel kind of special. Eh?
Right. Yeah.
You feel like a boss.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It's just got that presence.
Yeah.
Whereas that is an E39, and not a lot of people would. I know that's a real sleeper, that thing.
Mm. And these have definitely got the more unicorn factor going on these days, I guess.
Yeah.
If that's a factor, you know, it influences you.
But yeah, as you know, I've just sold the 540 to Bruce.
Yep.
And I wasn't intending to sell right then.
Yeah.
It's kind of. He actually, I don't know if he told you, he sent me a link to a car he was looking to buy. And he said, "What do you think of this?" And I said, "Oh, it's probably your usual flogged out 540 Motorsport that probably needs everything doing to it."
Yeah.
Without even, you know, looking too hard, and sort of jokingly almost said, "You should buy mine." So he did. But he's happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that car was a special car too. You know, it was individual.
Yeah.
And I made it look a bit like an M5 with the wheels and mirrors.
Yeah. Yeah. No, good looking car. It's got your stamp all over it. Definitely.
But there's still a lot to do on both of these.
Yeah.
I mean, the paintwork on both. I mean, it probably looks alright in the video, but there are things that need doing all around both cars. The M5 has got lots of stone chips on the front.
Yeah. That
I've tried to disguise, but you know, I've used it, and you drive it like, you know, as you intend it to be.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'd imagine, like, I probably never had a car that's 100% perfect, but the problem is once 100% perfect is keeping them there.
Yeah.
And worrying about keeping them there.
Yeah.
I guess. You know.
And when you repaint a car and go away from the original factory paint, it's never as durable.
Yeah.
As the factory paint.
Yeah,
so, you know, if I really started using this a lot, the front bumper will be peppered in no time.
Yeah, you'd have to get everything PPF'd probably, and then you sort of hope that whoever does it applies it in a way that it can be undone, you know, without causing damage to what you've just, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely definitely be the way to go, I'd imagine.
Open up the door for you.
Yeah. That PPF's so good now that you wouldn't even know it's on.
Yeah. I PPF the headlights on Bruce's car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. These would have been double glazed. Are these
No,
this one?
not this car.
It all adds to weight. It's the only thing,
Yeah,
eh?
I've got a 728 at home that is currently being worked on. That's double glazed.
Yeah. A lot of weight on the window regulators.
Well, they're a different regulator.
Right, yeah, they would have to be, I
they're
guess.
a different motor, I believe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a bit scary if you need to replace it. Having
Yeah.
said that, there are a lot of these 7s that were double glazed.
Right.
This being a motorsport, I guess they decided to,
Yeah, knock a bit of weight off there, maybe.
But it's got this cloth insert.
Yep.
Which is quite neat.
Yeah.
And it's got a darker kind of wood trim to a lot of them as well.
Did they come out with the Alcantara headlining? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, nice. It doesn't look too bad to me.
yeah, I know.
And the more you know the car,
Yeah.
your car, the more you see as well.
I've got it to a point where I'm more than happy with it, and,
Yeah.
and it would be right up there in terms of quality compared to a lot.
Yep.
But I mean, the wheels, I've been meaning to refurbish them for ages. I just haven't got there yet.
Yeah.
But that's probably the worst one.
Yeah. You just powder coat or paint?
These ones I think I'm going to get machined. Just the outer lip remachined.
Ah, yeah.
There's a crowd here actually local that do it.
Yep.
I keep buying other cars and putting things on.
Yeah.
I've painted the black trim on the Motorsport, so it's just all black.
Yep.
Whereas on the standard cars there's chrome.
Right, yeah.
Chrome tops. We'll replace the tail lights.
Yep. Nice. Well, we better hear this one running.
Okay. It's got that, like, you can turn the key and let go. And
Yeah.
it keeps starting.
Oh, yeah, Bruce mentioned that with his one.
Yeah.
He said just make sure you let the key go before, they keep turning it over, it'll keep turning over.
Yep. So compared to a lot of M62 TUs, that's quiet as a mouse.
Yeah.
It probably sounds on video a little bit more rattly than it actually is.
Yeah.
I have balanced it. I have put a coin on there before.
You read my mind.
But I'm not going to do it today because it won't work.
Then your coin will drop down somewhere where you don't want it to, and
Yeah.
you wonder what that noise is on the way home. Lovely. Yeah, I find it hard to choose one too, because for me they just look so good together.
Yeah.
Sort of two of the best,
And I sort of, like, at one stage I had 3 540 Motorsports and the M5, and they were all in various states of, work. And I was just spreading things too thin, and I've just got to pull it back a little bit. Having said that, I've just bought this 728 from my neighbour.
Oh, right.
But $200, what could I say, He knew of me and knew I liked to save cars.
Yeah.
So he just basically gave it to me, which is nice.
Yeah.
But it needs a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's up on the axle stands at the moment, sort of, having a few parts thrown at it.
Yeah. Get it roadworthy and then take it from there.
It was roadworthy.
Yeah.
It was all warranted and registered, but it was leaking every fluid you could imagine.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, at least you've got the ability,
Yeah. I've just got to learn to slow down a bit, eh?
Yeah. Right. It's pretty clean in here.
Yeah. It's just all standard M5. Like, it's got the titanium trim as opposed to silver or wood
Yep.
grain.
Yeah, yeah.
Some M5s had wood grain.
Yeah, I like the silver. Sort of never been.
Yeah.
I don't know, the wood's period correct in some cars,
Yeah.
but
It's got the ostrich leather
oh yeah,
as opposed to
yeah,
standard.
yeah, yeah,
It's got the phone.
yeah. So that's the original phone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
original phone.
Cool.
I've changed the steering wheel.
Yeah.
I've changed the gear shifter, as I said before. And
Yeah.
pixels repaired, and
Right.
I think I've changed the screen in the middle of the
Oh
console.
yeah. Yeah.
They often go.
Yeah.
This car was quite daggy when I actually bought it. It was used.
Right.
Like, it had clear coat scratches all through it. They had a dog, I think.
Ah yeah.
But I've wet sanded this car.
Yeah.
Wet sanded it and cut and polished it and got most of it out.
Brings the clear coat up.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing what you can
I mean,
do.
that's at the expense of the thickness of your clear
Yeah,
coat.
it's probably a testimony to the fact that there is a decent amount of paint and clear
Yeah.
on there to start
yeah.
start with, you know.
You'd be amazed at how much you can sand it
Yeah.
with like 1500 grit
Yeah.
and not go anywhere near the base coat.
Yeah.
No doubt it's a bit thin in places now, but
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's a good compromise between the cost of that, which was nothing, it was just all my time
yeah.
versus having it done.
Yeah. Is this shadow chrome? Or,
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had those redone. I'm not overly happy with it.
Yeah.
And I've chipped a lot since.
Yeah. Paint does, eh?
Especially the back ones.
Yeah.
But it's hard getting it right.
Yeah.
And I think even from the factory that they say that depending on who was painting that shift, you got a slightly different shade.
Right. Yeah.
Because the base coat is a powder coat black,
Yeah.
I believe, and then you whip it with the special
Yeah.
silver,
It's a neat effect.
and then you clear coat it.
Yeah. Like you almost can't tell where the black is and where it isn't. Like I guess that's why they call it shadow chrome, because that's the effect. But they look good, and it's definitely the right choice, you know, with these cars to keep it like that. So
On Bruce's car, I repainted those wheels myself, and
yeah,
they're a Audi mineral grey metallic. I just thought I'd go for something a bit different.
yeah. If you haven't already picked up on the Bruce, there's another video that you can watch of the, what was it, a 540
Motorsport.
540 Motorsport individual that Stuart sold to Bruce. So there's quite a lengthy video of Bruce talking about his other cars as well as that one. It's worth checking out because it's a very clean car. But, yeah. It's another thing I like with the older models, how they kept this, same with the E46, you know, they kept that as part of the bonnet, without having the bonnet seam that's cut it. I guess that's just a cost cutting thing, because that's metal, and on the new ones it's plastic. It's probably the big difference. But it's just a kind of a pointless body line, or whatever you want to call it, whereas that does away with that. So. Nice.
So this is the S62.
S62, yeah.
The variant of the M62, so it's more or less the same block.
But the M spec.
So it's bored out to 5 litre. It's got individual throttle bodies. It's got these trumpet things in here. There's 8 trumpets in there. It's got variable valve timing, intake and exhaust. Yeah, it's just a beast.
Yeah. Have you run it just for shits and giggles with the plenum cover off so you can hear the...
No.
I bet it would sound good.
Yeah.
Been, I mean, just, you know, V8, that intake, you just can't beat it, the intake sound. Even on the straight sixes with the NA straight sixes, it still sounds...
Should try it one day.
The intake, yeah. That guy Nathan, who I mentioned, with his red E38, he's put ITBs with trumpets on it, and they're still just all open.
Yep.
And that was a started life as a 520E or something bizarre like that, and it's been obviously completely changed. But yeah, it'd be worth you checking that one out, that video, because you'll get a kick out of. I mean, he's not broken rules, but because he started off with something that's nothing really.
Yeah.
He's turned it into what he wanted to. Cool. So, but totally different story with this, because you've got something that you want to keep as something rather than, you know.
So I did a lot of work on this when I first got the car. But since then it's been reliable as I just get in and drive it now.
Yeah.
Like, you change these hoses.
Yeah.
I've changed the thermostat and all the rubber hoses behind it. It's got a new fan clutch on it.
Yeah.
I haven't done the valve cover gaskets as yet.
Right.
Which is very unusual.
Yeah.
I have done the oil pan.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty common, eh?
Oil pan. The front crank seal as well started leaking.
Oh yeah. But you said this has done a few Ks. How many?
This is 265.
Yeah.
All my cars have done about the same. They're high 200s.
Yeah. But for a V8, I mean that's.
Yeah.
You know, like you said before, depending on its service history, but.
And it's quite strange that that is still relatively white looking.
Yeah.
There's a lot of these cars that has just turned brown.
Yeah.
And
real brittle kind of looking, and
and I don't really know why. Perhaps the wrong coolant's been used, or
true.
I kind of take it that it's been looked after.
Yeah, well, it's funny, you get little telltale signs with cars, and even if you don't know the service history of a car, sometimes certain things you see and you go, it kind of looks like someone cared for it.
Yep.
You'd know what to spot. But.
I've put a new radiator in it too, just for no real reason, apart from maybe I should.
Preventative maintenance.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. If you're doing stuff yourself, you'd opt to do it. But if you said to a mechanic, "Should I do that?" most would just say, "No, it's fine."
Like it's like the 7 to 8 I've just acquired. It's obvious it's had reactive maintenance its whole life.
Yeah.
Something goes wrong, something starts leaking, it goes in and gets fixed.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah.
So they don't sort of
preemptively.
But that's what us as enthusiasts are all about, eh?
Yeah.
We try and get ahead of the
find out what
curve.
What the problems may be, and get it, like you say, keep ahead of them, rather than be left stranded somewhere.
Yep.
Especially things like thermostats and water pumps, and that I think they got worse as quality-wise as the models progressed. I know all the E60s and that, everything was plastic and prone to wearing out. Yeah. Well, we better have this one running, and we might see it. We might see it in motion. I think. Yeah.
This one's got quite a mechanical sound.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of the beast. The earlier engines were maybe more pronounced to the Vanos rattling kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't think the Vanos has been touched on this car, and with the high Ks it's done, it's quite good.
Do they have that thing like with the, I know with the N52s, the straight 6, with the lifter tick?
Yes.
And they go away if you sort of give it a bit of a
Italian tune-up. Yeah, I've had lifter tick on this a couple of occasions. Just sat for too long.
Yeah.
Started up and
it's just the oil starvation, isn't it? The lifters. But
it's got to drive the thing.
Yeah, people worry about. Funny, especially when people first get into something, and I know I did. You just hear about all the problems, and you just assume that you're going to have all the problems, you know. But often, you just don't.
No, and that's the thing about enthusiast groups. It attracts all the problems.
Yeah.
You hear about all the problems, but there's a vast number of cars. I mean, standard BMWs out there in the world that are just perfectly fine. But enthusiasts come together, and you hear about this problems, and it's disproportionate to what the actual thing is.
Well, you know what to look out for or listen out for before that problem even is a problem, so
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's kind of the end of this part of the video, but there's a bit of a bonus. Rowan, who owns this place, he's a Holden man, and he's got a couple of lovely Holdens that we're going to have a look at, so stay tuned for more. Well, that's cool, thanks Stuart. Might have a look at Rowan's Holdens now. Is there anything else that's interesting about these guys?
You don't want to take this one out for a drive?
Yeah, we could do.
Do you want to drive it?
Ooh. Do you want to hold the camera?
I could hold the camera.
I'm going to have a drive in the 740. My first drive in a 740, so bit of a treat. And Stuart's going to hold the camera, so very much a treat. Alright.
Just got a subwoofer from the back.
Oh yeah.
Just adjust the seat to where you want it. And
That'll be alright for the time we're going to be.
I don't think the handbrake's on. No.
There is a handbrake.
It's a foot brake.
Ah, yeah.
And then the release is over there. You pull that. Bit different, eh?
Yeah. Nice.
Camera in the right kind of spot.
Ah, yeah. Pretty good cameras because they're wide.
Yep. I put some chrome rings around the dials just to give it a little bit more.
Oh, nice. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Gosh, they're so smooth.
You should just go wherever you like.
People probably get out of your way anyway, don't they?
Yep. Look out, here comes the CEO. He's in a hurry. He's got places to be.
Who's the boss?
Head left here, maybe.
Problem is, once you drive different cars, especially really nice ones, you kind of want one.
Yeah. I mean, this is by no means, in today's standards or even back then, a performance car.
Yep.
But it's just a sum of what it is, you know, what they tried to make it, and I reckon it works really well.
Yeah.
Just keep going straight if you like, just out a bit.
Are they fairly, like if you're just cruising, keep maintaining your speed, are they not too bad on fuel economy?
They're not too bad at all on the open road. I reset the fuel on the expressway and we're running at 10.9 now.
Oh yeah, it's not bad.
But you can keep it, you can cruise under 10,
Yep.
easy.
BMW people don't weigh back.
It's quite amazing. Well, it is to me that you don't get the looks that, you know, you think the car deserves sometimes.
Yeah.
Because people these days, vast majority of people, a car's just an appliance that they steer, and that's
what they want. That's what they want them to become
Yeah.
as well.
could do a U-turn just in here if you want. If there's yeah.
got a nice tuning ratio. Is it active power steering?
No, nothing like that.
That was later on.
That was later on.
That's what my E61 had.
E60s. It came in out an E60, I believe.
Yeah, my E61 definitely had that, and it was really noticeable. Like, get to a supermarket car park, something like that, and it was just, you know, quarter of a turn, and it was full lock.
Right.
Purrs.
Yeah.
So this is the new wheel as well?
This is a replacement wheel, yep.
Wheel, yeah.
Yep. I've got a lot of parts at home that I know I'm never ever going to use or sell, so
Yeah.
you know, well, my boys will have to deal with it at some stage.
Yeah.
You just acquire stuff, and
Well, you never know, do you?
you never know. Well, I've often sold parts, and then, you know, just a few months later I go, damn,
Yeah.
I need that part.
It's a hard one.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just a matter of having somewhere to put them all. There's one
Yeah.
thing I really admired with, well, among other things, with our mate Peter Bromley.
Yep.
Just how well organised he is with all his workshop and that.
Yep.
He just knows where everything is.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, at home I've only got a double garage, but I've made good use of it.
Yeah.
And I've got roof space, I've got parts in the roof. I have a very patient Trish.
Yeah, nice.
It's
a good.
She understands my hobby,
Yeah.
which is nice.
There's no other way it can work, really.
No.
Being in a relationship and having, you know, a mad passion for cars, sort of has
It
to
is
be mutual.
it is mad. She's got her thing as well, and
Yep.
forms of marathon running and stuff like that. So
Right, two-way.
yeah,
Two-way ridge. Yeah.
I think she's out running around the Blue Lake today, actually.
Oh. All right. Well, that's awesome. Thank you.
All right.
I like it how they used to do that.
Yep.